Hey guys, Greg here from Body Embrace. And now today I'm talking about the real reason why you're not losing weight. You might not like it. It's calorie deficit. So there's a difference between an assumed or I think I'm in a calorie deficit compared to an actual calorie deficit where every single calorie, both in and out, are properly and accurately accounted for. In an actual deficit, you will lose body fat. If you're not losing body fat, it's because you're simply not in a deficit. You just think you are. I can hear it now. Greg, that's not true. I'm tracking everything, but I'm still not losing weight. Not possible. There was a study done in recent times where a group of obese subjects weren't losing weight whilst reporting a dietary intake of 1,200 calories. You might be thinking, well, maybe they had slow metabolisms. Nope. All of their metabolisms were tested and they fell within 5% of predicted values. You may be thinking, well, maybe they were retaining fluids. Nope. Not the case. What was actually happening was that they were underreporting their calorie intake by an average of 1,053 calories per day. That's 47% of their actual calories consumed not being reported. To make matters worse, they also over-reported their physical activity by an average of 57%. That's an average of 251 calories per day that were reported as being burned but actually weren't, and that just adds to their non-existent calorie deficit. What you have to understand is that if the scales aren't going down and you think you're in a calorie deficit and you think you're tracking your calories properly, unfortunately you're just not. What's happening is that you're underreporting what you're eating and over-reporting what you're burning. It's also really not that hard to do either of those two things and clearly not uncommon. And it might be on purpose because if it isn't reported, then it didn't happen. Or you might just be truly oblivious to the extra calories sneaking in. Either way, you're consuming too much and burning too little, period. Some of the really common things that we see that can affect your deficit are not reporting picking, not reporting weekends, not accurately reporting the foods that weren't prepared by you, eating out way too often and then having to guess what food you actually consumed, not reporting all veggies, not reporting all sauces, not reporting liquid calories, including coffee and alcohol, and a big one, not weighing everything properly. So your question might be, okay, maybe I am actually underreporting my calories, but how on earth do I fix that? My advice, guys, is to be honest with yourselves, be honest with your trainers, be honest with your dietitians, be honest with anyone who is helping you try to lose weight. If we don't know what the issue is, we can't help you. Make sure that if you're tracking your calories, you're tracking all of your calories, not just the calories that people see you eating, or deciding not to track the weekend calories, or not to track the foods that sneak in when you're picking, or not tracking the foods that you're too embarrassed to record. Track everything. Help us help you. In summary, you don't have to do keto. You don't have to do the 5 and 2 diet. You don't have to do intermittent fasting to lose weight. You just have to be in a calorie deficit. All those diets are doing is controlling your calorie deficit for you by restricting what you can and can't eat. What do you think is going to last long term? Being in a calorie deficit and not enjoying the foods that you love because of some fancy concept that someone has come up with to restrict your calories and keep you in a calorie deficit, or eating all the foods that you love but making sure that they're budgeted for and controlling your calorie intake yourself. It is slightly more work because you're not being spoon-fed a meal plan. You're having to do a bit of trial and error and you're having to educate yourself, but that is much more likely to last long term. And that's what your goal should be. Why would you want to lose 10 kilos in 10 weeks only to put that weight back on and more and have to do it all over again? Now, don't get me wrong, if one of those diets is working for you, then that's great and it's obviously fitting into your lifestyle. But don't be fooled. It's the calorie deficit that has helped you lose that weight, not the fancy concept of the diet. If you're on a diet and you don't see it lasting throughout the December, January crazy holiday period, then it's not gonna last long term. The fad diets come and go for a reason. Whatever happened to the Atkins diet, the South Beach diet, the Dukan diet, the Zone diet, the Mediterranean diet, the alkaline diet? You don't hear about those other diets anymore for a reason. And that reason is that they just simply don't last long term. Now, I'm not saying that these diets don't have other potential health benefits, but when we're talking about weight loss, all of these diets are doing the exact same thing. They're putting your body into a calorie deficit.